9/11 Investigates is pressing Pittsburgh's mayor about a controversial police staffing study that now has the DA requesting all of the city's no-bid contracts. Chief Investigator Rick Earl joins us live in the studio. And Rick, you also have exclusive new information about the new steps the DA is taking.
Exactly, Lisa. The district attorney just sent this strongly worded letter to Matrix Consulting, ordering them now to preserve all documents related to that police staffing study they did. And today, the mayor accused the DA of playing politics and said everything was done by the book. Was there an abuse of the no-bid contract?
No, there was no abuse of them, not at all.
Mayor Ed Gainey today defending his administration's no-bid contract with the Matrix Consulting Group to conduct a police staffing study. This after the district attorney requested more information on no-bid contracts during the last 3 years and suggested the administration may have abused the process. The Matrix study suggested the city had more than enough patrol officers when the ranks continued to decline and officers are routinely mandated to work overtime to cover shifts. The mayor said everything was above board and he has nothing more to say to the DA.
We're not going to go back and forth. We're not. We're going to continue to stay focused on what we have to do to improve this city every single day. If he wants to have that conversation how we improve this city, I'm on board. Until then, this conversation is mute.
Matrix also responded in a letter to the DA accusing him of making false statements and demanding a retraction. Matrix claims the reference to a March 2022 start date in the report was a typo and no billable work was done until the contract was signed in July. The DA sent this letter to Matrix, ordering them to preserve all documents related to that contract and accusing them of failing to disclose that they were already performing crucial aspects of the study prior to signing the contract. The DA writing, quote, Matrix omissions helped undermine the entire no-bid process, tainting the Matrix reports and assisting city administration in wasting the $180,000 of taxpayers' money. And the DA adding in that letter to Matrix, quote, if you have any further claimed typos, please feel free to bring them to my attention. The DA hasn't requested the documents from Matrix, only directing that company not to destroy any of them. We will keep you posted on any developments here. In the studio, Rick Earl, Channel 11 News.